I am going to, talk about this and in between, if anybody wants to make comment, one can make. But if you try to listen it full, that will help you better. You see, there are environmental issues, all of us know. And I'm beginning my, talk from the first slide itself, where the blue marble photograph of are taken by Apollo 17 mission. It's a very beautiful picture, clicked long ago, say in 70s. And this tells us about the Mother Earth. Then I'll begin my talk by saying, one, the Earth came into existence, and one, it changed to world. There is a two words here. They are not to be used interchangeably, but normally we do. You see, as per the scientific explanations, it is supposed to be the Earth is formed 4.5 billion years ago. And it has its own history. And in the first billion year of the Earth's existence, the life started coming on Earth. And thereafter, it has undergone changes, not only in the physical sense, but also in the biological sense. The earlier proliferation of the life existing on the Earth may be more dependent upon the anaerobic sort of changes, and later on, the aerobic organisms bloom. And through a scientific theory, it is also believed that the first primitive cell originated in ocean. And why do we say so? Because cytoplasm, the electrolyte composition is almost as that of seawater. So there is a parallelism. And from there itself, the physical world having its interaction started with the biological world. Therefore, the word biosphere was added. And it is all very important that whatever matter is there available on Earth and in its surrounding atmosphere, they are in a continuous exchange with each other. And when the biofactor, that means the life also is added to it, these cycles are referred as biogeochemical. So this all, we know, we are just revising it. This is also interesting to note that it is combination of few things which has allowed the life to exist on Earth. And it may be taken as a coincidence. The Earth's distance from the sun is such that it is neither very hot nor very cold for life to exist. It is being surrounded by atmosphere, that also helps. We know it is spinning and revolving, that also helps. The water, which is considered to be the elixir of life, that is existing as a liquid. Had it not been, the same, type of life that we know of today on the Earth may not have existed. And then all the geological phenomena that have allowed together to have life possible on Earth. Now, if you look at since the life has started existing on Earth to the present time, there's a big biodiversity, and that also has undergone the expansion, and many a times, maybe occasionally, suffered mass extinction too. So the present form of life, if we whatever we know of, the plant kingdom, animal kingdom, it is also important to know that 99% of species, whichever we suppose to have existed on the Earth, have undergone extinction. So it is only, a fundamental thing to understand that the life is undergoing continuous change. And as on today, there are over 8 billion, 800 crore human lives on Earth. And remember, 144 out of it is in India. So we have a major share. And the dependence of life in biosphere and the natural resources for their survival and existence is interlinked. You cannot think of a same kind of a life unless there is a established interlink and one understands it. Now, up to this point where there is a question of sustenance of life, that is a sort of a worry. So that is possible because of certain natural processes and all those factors which I have stated earlier. Combine them together and you will realize that it's all possible. And two natural phenomena which are considered to be the most essential. One is the photosynthesis, that means locking off the sun's light, the energy source, making the food available for biosphere to survive. And then whatever food and the light that has been interlocked in the process of photosynthesis, through the process of respiration, it is being used as a source of energy. That means the food. And all this is managed through natural resources and the processes for various forms of life existing on the. You need not intervene with the nature up to this point. So that is why I'm saying so far so good. I mean, the nature can take care of existence of life because all these factors combined together naturally happening. Then from where the problem comes? The problem comes when the things started changing from sustenance to comfort, and making the life comfortable on earth means we measure it in terms of development. The population, as I've told you, I mean, if you compare how much change the population has undergone change in the last 50 years, in 1974, the Earth's population was only 4 billion. Now today it is 8 billion, doubled. In these 50 years, the India's population of 61 crore has increased to 144 crore. So the physical, I mean, the sustenance of life, also combining to the making the life comfortable, arranging food for them, and then also talking about development. This requires over-exploitation of resources. And as and when this over-exploitation of resources begin, converting of material into non-biodegradable form begins, converting the whatever, I mean, the matter around us into useful materials or substances into maybe a useful material, but harmful to the environmental balance, that begins. This keeps altering at a much rapid rate than expected the composition of atmosphere, hydrosphere, and lithosphere, etc. The nature can take care of it had this change not been rapid. Over the years, as I'm telling you, the composition had never remained same. So it doesn't matter even if today the composition doesn't remain same. The nature can take care of it. But when it happen in a very rapid manner, and that too during one's lifetime, it is in fact not nature that is changing its form. That means the natural resources. It is in fact our adaptability that becomes a problem. The problem is not with the physical phenomena. The problem is with the biosphere. We are unable to adapt the changes that we are responsible to do it. So therefore, I say that the anthropogenic activity is leading to a conflict situation for ourselves. So human beings mostly are responsible for whatever conflicts situation that we are entering into the Mother Earth. And that is why when all this starts, the word world comes in. So we are living in world, changing the earth, nature to world. Now, why do I say so? There is, I mean, direct evidence for this. This is a photograph clicked of the India Gate situated in Delhi.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Excuse me, Professor Bhagi, your slides have some kind of a black strip coming. Is
Where?
it there from your?
No, but I don't see anything black strip.
It's not there.
I mean, there is only this your on photographs, etc. You can minimize it, so then you can see it full.
Okay. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Now it's visible.
Okay, no problem. So you can see, I mean, during the lockdown effect and even the Janta, I mean, lockdown or the curfew, one noticed a sudden change in the air quality of Delhi, Mumbai, Kolkata, and where not. When the economic activities are in full swing, you have a different air composition, and even one day, the things changed. You can see, I mean, this through this photograph. So The concept that the anthropogenic activities are increasingly becoming very important for the atmosphere or hydrosphere or lithosphere is verified by this fact. Now, pandemic followed by a national lockdown led to huge downfall of economic activity, and therefore there was a visible change in the pollution level. Many people commented that the nature is healing, but that claim was not very correct, because this was a little reason to celebrate, because at the same time there was a pandemic coming in. Now, with regard to uh, the major conflicts that we know of today of environmental issues, I have listed few. There is an issue of climate change, a change in global or a regional climate pattern that we have noticed over the years. Even if you compare wherever city you are living in, I can vouch for Delhi. 50 years ago, the regional climate was not same as of today. In those days, the mercury never touched or gone beyond 42 degrees. Now it's normal practice. Even in Delhi, the temperature reaches 46, 47 during summer. There is an extreme climate in Delhi. In summer, we have a very, very high temperature, going up to 46, 47, maybe sometimes in some places 47, 48. And in summer, we also have then very low temperatures. The rainfall becoming erratic. Earlier, the rainfall was on only this much of millimeter, which are these days to this, but the time under which that rainfall was happening was much larger. It was spread over. Now, the number of days on which we receive rainfall is lesser, but maybe the same rainfall. So by the speed by which we are getting precipitation is much faster. There is a, therefore, situation of flash floods, even in the Himalayan regions. Natural disasters like forest fires. Even today, if you talk, there is a forest fire in Uttarakhand. And such phenomena are repeated. I mean, many a times we see that these things are happening. The conflict, air, water, soil, noise, radiation, all sort of pollution. I mean, one can take many examples, but I would like to mention here the radiation pollution problem only because of the use of mobile. The microwave intensity in Delhi, they may not be, I mean, we may not be feeling it, but then you see, it has ended sparrows from Delhi. The egg hatches faster, prematurely, because of the microwave radiation's intensity that has increased in Delhi, and the small sparrow called Guraiya has vanished from Delhi. So is the effect. The smog episodes are common. Many people feel that the smog episodes happen only during winter. But dear friends, there are hardly any days in Delhi when there is no smog. Many a times in winter, it is more of a classical smog that is in predominance. But during summer, even the photothermal smog is there, though it is not visible through eyes because there is no soot, etc. But the kind of, I mean, the ozone level, the NOx level, and the other things, the pollutants, they are constantly in metropolitan cities here that we are breathing. The sewage in the major cities is becoming a huge of a problem. I'll take example of Delhi with regard to these three: smog episodes, the sewage, the solid waste disposal. And the things have changed over past 30, 40 years, maybe 50 years, when we are saying that the population of India has almost 2.4 times from 74 to 24. Last 50 years, from 61 crore to we are now 144 crores in India. The population of Delhi has gone more than 4 times to its increase. So the problem is becoming severe and severe, because more is the population means more is the anthropogenic activity, and so is the change. Even there is a resource depletion. This is also environmental conflict. Fresh drinking water availability is reducing constantly. The forest area is being cut. The number of trees have decreased, so much so that we need minimum, I mean, even in the northern region, we need minimum 3 crore tree planted in this area. 3 crore big trees are to be planted. The minerals are getting reduced. The food is becoming a problem. Although the agriculture practices have improved, we have used so many fertilizers, pesticide techniques have been developed. They in turn are becoming more of a problem than a solution. We are getting more yields, no doubt. But then you can take an example of Punjab. After Harit Kranti, the Punjab area, because of the excessive use of fertilizers and pesticides, has turned into a cancer region. The train is being named after the cancer train. You see, the things have changed. The conflict area is also about genetically modified food. Genetically modified food, they are required to meet our requirements to have no hunger zone in the areas. But at the same time, you see, genetically modified food, there is a environment concern, because when the things are modified, say for example, brinjal or maybe sarson, there are many ecological imbalance in terms of insects and other things that will come in. So these are the issues. Human health undergone a degradation because of the change in the water quality, change in the soil quality, change in even the air quality. And recently we have all seen the effect of pandemic, COVID-19. That is also being taken as an environmental concern or an issue. So these are the issues. I mean, some of them I have tried to highlight. Now, with the simple definition of what pollution means is toxins, contaminants, and other harmful products introduced in environment, disrupting the normal pattern or function. And causes are both natural and anthropogenic, but in recent time, more of anthropogenic. But that doesn't mean that the natural causes are not there. You will remember 4 or 5 years ago, there was a dust storm started from Gulf of Persia, covering whole of Gujarat, Rajasthan, part of Madhya Pradesh, then UP, then Bihar, Odisha. And the dust storm traveled so long that it then sank into the Bay of Bengal. And for 4 or 5 days, there was a total haze, the total dust in all these areas, and those dusts were so minute. The PM 2.5 levels were drastically increased during the time, and the dust that was settled after some time, whenever there is a wind flow, a stronger wind flow, that dust once again comes to the air and causes pollution. So what I want to say is that all these are to be combined together and considered if one has to think about how to tackle this problem of pollution and the conflict situations. I would also like to, mention the headlines in international media, and thereafter there's so many times this has happened. But I have taken a specific year, November 2017. There was a hue and cry in whole of the world that Delhi became the most polluted city on the earth. Breathing in Indian capital was like, these were the headline in the social media and in the newspapers, in the print media and also in the electronic media. That breathing in Indian capital is like, smoking 50 cigarettes a day. There was a headline, the United Airlines cancelled its flights to India's capital because of the poor air quality. Visibility was so bad, the cars crashed into and pileups on the highways. The trains had to be delayed and cancelled. And this happens every year. I have taken the headlines of once, but then is there any politics involved? Yes, there is a politics involved in it. The world politics is played. Why? These are the pictures which were, also posted in those days on the social media and in the print media and electronic media shown. This is how Delhi looks like. What is its impact? It is said that the WHO say that many of the world's most polluted cities are in India. And the dubious honors of world most polluted capital city goes to Delhi. And it is estimated that the Delhi air pollution kills nearly 10,500 people every year, and nearly 1.25 million people in India are being killed because of the air pollution. This is being estimated through a study. And we say that the air pollution is in fact killing more than what people are killed over due to the smoking and other things. Heart attacks, strokes, and all these are very common when high pollution days are there. And how does these headlines impact the Indian capital and India on bad names in international circuits? Citizens have the health issues, no, that is there. The materials are also at a risk. All electronic gadgets, they get destroyed even in 4 and 5 years wherever the air pollution levels are high. Tourism industry gets a major setback. People feel, there's no need to go to India or no need to go for tourism in Rajasthan or to see Agra and other places. And especially remember when this is happening in November, December. So these are the months when mainly the tourists from the West comes. Many international meetings get cancelled or postponed, negatively affecting our image and relationship in business activities and in the international relations. This all happens. And one should not shy away from saying that the local governments and the central government, they're failing to control the air and other pollution episodes. And this is leading to the unrest among the common people. This is becoming a major issue. And the governments are always in dilemma that what to do in such emergency. If the strict measures are there, they are mostly unpopular. Say, for example, if due to the implementation of GRAP in Delhi, the Graded Response Action Plan, if the construction activities are stopped, the laborers loses their job. It's a question of their livelihood. And when you are trying to control the pollution, air pollution, when specifically it is very, very high, it is always at the cost of the livelihood of some people. And there are some long-term and short-term measures which are to be taken. And this starts a debate that what do you mean by sustainable development in Indian context? The answer may come from UN 17 Sustainable Development Goals. But the point is that developed countries, they have played with the environment so much. After being developed, now they are dictating to the underdeveloping countries or the countries which have a future in development in these years that please do not do this, do not do that. But of course, to save our lives, we have to take strict measures. There's no doubt about it. Now, as stated in this lecture, I'll try to hurriedly cover three, major issues. One is air pollution, the smog. The other, I'll try to cover the sewage disposal problem, and finally the solid disposal problem. There's so many others, but all cannot be covered in one lecture, of course. So I'll highlighting these three. Now you compare urban areas with that of the rural areas, you'll find urban areas under more stress. Although traveling of air and therefore the traveling of pollution, the movement of wind do not understand any boundaries. Whatever pollution episode is happening, let us say in Delhi, it is bound to travel to the neighboring states and vice versa. If there is a parali burning episode, paddy straw burning episode happening in the surrounding states, then it has to travel back to Delhi. You cannot have boundaries fixed. Even what to talk about, the state boundaries, even it just doesn't understand the international boundaries. I have given you the natural disaster happening when the air traveled from the storm traveled from the Gulf of Persia and covered the whole of India almost, the northern part of it at least, and the eastern part of and the western part. So this is a sort of a situation that we are facing. And pollution severely affects not only the, 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 the levels of livelihood, but also the microclimates of the cities. The smog episodes in big Indian cities are becoming a concern. And people feel that as if it is a problem of Delhi and surrounding area. No, the city like Patna, the city like Begusrai has earned, I mean, very bad name. It came onto the world scene because of a very high level of pollution during some part of the year. And smoke from industry, automobile, all these are coming together. The dust, because of the construction activity, they're all coming together and it is harming human health, animals, plants, and materials together. And smog is more talked about because it remains suspended for a longer duration in air because of a particular matter size. And it is more of a gaseous in nature, whether it is NOx, SOx, ozone, they all can remain suspended for a longer time. The dust, the smaller particles remain suspended for a longer time, but the bigger particle or the soot can settle after some time. If you try to find out the major sources of air pollution in the metro cities, automobile is considered to be the major culprit, but let me tell you, even in Delhi, it is only cause of 40% of the air pollution. And the burning of fossil fuel for cooking and other purpose is also contributing significantly. Then it is not an automobile fuel. Even if you try to find out how much, I mean, the chulas are there for cooking purpose in Delhi, the household ones and the ones which are installed in the restaurants, which are there in the hotels or even in the banquet halls. You will be surprised that they are all coming together. And that is why, I mean, as a measure in Delhi, all the sort of chulas which were being run on to the coal and the wood and the tandoors during the marriage season specifically or in the hotels, they are slowly being converted now the tandoors on CNG. They were becoming the major source of emission for the air pollution. Industrial air pollution is also there, if not from India, but from the surroundings of Delhi. And once again, I mean, the major culprit is the fuel used in these industries. Up till now, the energy needs of India, the 50% are being met on coal. Slowly, this scenario is changing. Of course, the government of India is taking measures that we'll talk a little later. But earlier, there are so many thermal power stations. And thermal power station inside the Delhi, they have been shifted onto the CNG now. One or two are closed, like Rajghat and the ITO one. But still, I mean, there are so many in Delhi and surrounding 300 kilometers of Delhi. There are at least 13, 14 thermal power stations, small or big, and they are needed. And the most of them they are being run on coal. The construction related activities, and mind you, I mean, we are saying that the metro is coming so as an alternate to reduce the air pollution arising because of the burning of diesel or CNG or petrol in vehicles. But at the same time, whatever, I mean, construction activities, even in the making of metro is involved, so much of dust pollution it is causing. So continuously we are saying for the last 25 years, the metro related construction activities are going on, although the aim and objective behind it is to reduce the air pollution, but construction for even creating metro is causing a huge and contributing a huge dust pollution in Delhi. Same is happening in almost all metropolitan cities and big cities of India. The metro is going everywhere. And you see, it is not, as I have told you, that the local air pollution sources, the sources are even from the outside. The most talk about is the paddy straw burning, specifically in Haryana, Punjab, and Western Uttar Pradesh. Similarly, this may be happening elsewhere. And remember that the paddy straw that is being produced specifically in the month of October, this straw is silica rich, so cannot be even used as a good animal fodder. We have to have some way to use this paddy straw that is being used to get converted maybe into cardboards or something else, so as to control these burning of paddy straw in the fields, the farm fields. And I'll discuss some more, uh, things that can be done. But major cities, the big cities, not only facing a problem because of the vehicular pollution of its own, most of the time it is the non-destined transport or the truck movements that is also responsible for adding on the pollution in the air. Say, for example, in Delhi, whatever is required for movement within the Delhi, the transportation is there, okay. Then we also have our needs to be met. Therefore, many trucks will be carrying food grains and other materials and other needed things from the manufacturing area hubs to Delhi. Okay, that is also acceptable. But do you know that the 30% of vehicular pollution in Delhi is only that vehicles which are only passing through Delhi? Their destination is not Delhi. Neither they belong to Delhi. But they simply pass through Delhi because they have to travel, let us say, from Ambala to Gwalior, so they pass through Delhi. So this non-destined truck movement, their entry is to be stopped somehow. And that is why the toll tax was introduced, and whatever the earnings came from that toll tax from South Delhi Municipal Taxation for the non-destined truck movement, later on the electric buses that you find in Delhi now is being purchased after so many years. That is from the income generated from that tax imposed. And all this I know because this all has been done by a Supreme Court appointed authority on their suggestion, which was called IPCA, Environmental Pollution Prevention Control Authority, to which I was member for 5 years. And we gave this graded response action plan as one of the short-term measures. We also suggested what are the long-term measures to be done so as to control the air pollution. And in fact, we suggested to the Supreme Court and to the government to impose the tax on non-destined truck movement. And we impressed upon the government to build Eastern Peripheral Road and Western Peripheral Road so that the transportation which was destination is not Delhi can travel through those the side roads and go to Haryana or Rajasthan or Madhya Pradesh, etc. So all these are required. One cannot think of that when the construction activities are going on, wherever such development takes place, whether it is Gurgaon or Noida or Delhi or maybe any part of India where the new uh, smart cities are coming or the cities are coming up or the urbanization is taking place, we always need bricks. And you know where these brick lanes are made? The chimneys and the bhattas where these brick lanes are made, the bricks are made in the brick lanes, and they uses the worst kind of fuels. Mostly, it is wood, the plastic waste, the burnt mobile oil, the coal tar, and whatnot. All waste are being dumped into it, and they are burning it as a fuel, the rubber waste and all, and then maybe the plastic waste. And these bricklins are emitting most harmful chemicals into the air. And if you take the example of Delhi, there are 2,100 bricklins bhattas surrounding Delhi so as to meet the requirement of bricks of Delhi. And they are becoming the major pollution source for themselves. That means surrounding Delhi, the NCR region, and Delhi too, because that will, with winds, travel to Delhi also. So all these things, I mean, combined together, responsible for the situation that we are landed up. Particular matter, carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, carbon dioxide, ozone, nitrous oxide, nitrogen oxides, dust, all unburned hydrocarbons. They are all present now in the metro cities air. And remember, whatever is happening, to give or to implement any control method, the more important thing is to monitor it. And remember that for any air pollutant to be present in the air, three things are always important. The type of pollutant, its characterization is required. The concentration of pollutant is important. And third is the exposure time. These three things are very important. If you compare the carbon monoxide and with that of the SOx, that means the sulfur dioxide mainly, the carbon monoxide is more lethal. So even the lower concentration of carbon monoxide and the lower time of exposure will be more dangerous than the SOx in a little higher concentration. So you see all these things, and their monitoring is important first. Then we can think of their control and how to save yourself. And that is why when in 2014, the new government came in under the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan on 17 September 2024, they made it mandatory for monitoring of the air pollution. And the index was made the AQI, Air Quality Index. And it was made mandatory for all local governments to declare on the websites, and even the central government itself is doing through SAFAR, that you have to declare that what the common people of this country, the air that they are breathing in. And now you can see from this table that the types of pollutants are important, whether it is, I mean, PM10 or PM2.5 or NO2 or ozone or carbon monoxide or and so on and so forth. And then in the bracket, there is the exposure time is given. So you see, if you compare NO2, so 0 to 40 is good in ppm. But carbon monoxide is 0 to 1.0, and that too for 8-hour exposure. So you can compare the carbon monoxide is much more lethal than the NO2. And so is the SOx. So the different ranges have been created. For good, it is 0 to 50. For satisfactory, 51 to 100 ppm. And then moderately polluted means 101 to 200. The poor is 201 to 300. Very poor is 301 to 400. And severe is 401 to 500 ppm. And different levels combined together. There can be a method for, I mean, measuring more than one pollutant through the monitoring sites. And you may have noticed that there are, even in Delhi, there are many, I mean, monitoring sites present. ITO you have installed, Ashok Vihar, Delhi University, then Wazirpur, Anand Vihar Terminus, and so on, so on, so forth. This all we suggested to the government, and the government of India took notice of it and installed not only in the NCR region, but in many metropolitan cities, more than one or two, I mean, monitoring station. You have a very local, and then what do we get? Through this data, you can know and label, I mean, what is our status with regard to the air pollution. So Delhi is on the top. This data is of May 19. May 19 of this year, Delhi was most polluted with 156 AQI. And then you have different cities in this order. And local time on 5th April, if you compare, you can see, I mean, one can think of during summers, Delhi is supposed to be cleaner. No, Delhi is not cleaner. It is still at 156. And Patna, Bihar or Gurugram, they are on a higher side. So Gurugram is not far away from Delhi. And these are the order, I mean, you can see. So at least you have a data. You have a monitoring, strong monitoring system. And even in Delhi, you see, you can have Vivek Vihar, Chandni Chowk, Bhavana, RK Puram, Shadipur, North Campus, Lodi Road. What is the pollution? You can grade them. You know what is the situation like. So this has actually, monitoring has helped. Because monitoring, once you know the problem, how severe it is, you can propose something to tackle it. So air pollution has to be, if it is to be dulled, it's already many things have started happening. You need to have a sulfur-free fuel. That means a more BS6 norms to be implemented with the vehicles and a more octane number high purity fuel. That means a sulfur-free fuel is to be used. The ethanol is to be blended. Today, it's mostly the 10% ethanol is being blended with the petrol and diesel. CNG you are using, CNG is not considered to be a safe fuel. Safer than, of course, diesel. Which diesel? Which was sulfur rich. There is a debate that the sulfur-free diesel is considered to be more safer than even CNG, because CNG produces more dangerous photochemical smog, whose low level even are more dangerous. Though the diesel produces soot, but the CNG produces the photochemical smog. The unburned hydrocarbons, its photochemistry is such that it produces a high level of pollutants, the secondary pollutants in air. Non-destroying truck movement is to be somehow controlled, and for that you need the bypasses. And strict enforcement of environment law is required. No to industrial pollution in the thermal power stations. The energy needs are to be met through alternate source of energy, not depending more on the burning of coal. Use of the chemical process to control the SOx and the NOx. I mean, you need to have a better chimney system. I recollect that when I was in ICA, we stopped 2,100 brick lanes during the winter months surrounding Delhi. There was a whole lot of hue and cry by the business people and the people involved working there as a labor, because it's a question of their livelihood. Then we came out with a solution that they have to install, if they want to run these brick lanes, they have to install the Z-type, the zigzag, the chimneys into them. The cost was 20,000 to 50,000, depending upon how big is the brick lane. So we forced upon them. Slowly they switched over to the better chimney system, and then reducing the air pollution caused by them. We also forced upon them not to use pet coke, etc. The selling of the bad fuels were stopped in 300-kilometer regions of Delhi. And it was also suggested that by cracking these fuels, the gases the fuel, the liquids are to be converted into the gaseous product, and then it is to be mixed with the PNG and CNG sources, so that the little better, it's not totally safe, but little better fuel is being used in automobiles, or maybe as a source in the industry. Even the thermal power stations, that of a Bhavana or even the Badarpur, they have been shifted to CNG now from the coal. All these measures are slowly taking place. The graded responses action plan, the GRAP for Delhi is very famous. I mean, now and then we read about it in the newspapers. From 2016 onwards, sat together and created this document, and this document, modified to their need, are today adopted in Bangalore, in Karnataka, in Pune, in Maharashtra, in Ahmedabad, in Gujarat, in Patna, in Bihar. A similar kind of a document now has been created by most of the cities wherever there is such a air pollution problem. And we have seen that depending upon graded response means what is the level of pollution, the same will be our response. So if it is poor or moderately poor, then certain measures are to be taken by the individuals and the local governments. And if there is a severe pollution or a very high level of pollution, then you see measures like, odd even coming in, the construction activities are being stopped. These type of things you notice during high level of pollution days. So this is what is GRAP is all about, but mostly it is short term. But in the GRAP, we have also proposed the long term measures. And mostly it is related to the energy, but also covering the payments and installing more trees, etc., etc. All those things were also suggested. And we talk about paddy straw burning, and we have understood that there are two major reasons for paddy straw being burned into the field. One, that this paddy straw is unfit to be used as an animal fodder. Second, there is a very short window for going from the rice cultivation to the next, the the cycle for the farming, and the window is only 15 to 20 days. So instead of cutting it, then selling it or using it as even the let us say fertilizer, the biofertilizer, the farmer think better it is to burn. That is why burning episodes take place. And there is also misconception in mind of certain section of farmer that when it is burnt, it produces the black sort of the residue, and that will help in acting as a automatic fertilizer for their crops, but it is not. We have to make them understand happy seeder machines are to be used. The straw is to be cut through happy seeder machines, and then even we suggested them if at all it is to be burned, then please use this as a fuel in the local small the power generating units, and it is being done in now Punjab and Haryana at some places. But still, 80% of the straw is being burnt. Neither it is being used as a fodder, nor it is being used as a fuel in the thermal power stations. And unless the government start buying the straw from the farmers, and they give a very big subsidy, and even they give happy seeder machines, this problem of burning paddy straw is not going to go with ease. So we have to have a zero tolerance for the garbage and leaf burning. We have to stop using pet coke, furnace oil, tire oil, etc. as a cheap fuel options for the industries and brick lanes. Create green payments in Delhi. Use refit system. It is in now being used. So anybody entering Delhi, which is a non-destined truck, will have to pay a heavy tax. And then use more of peripheral roads and flyovers to decongest Delhi traffic. Slow moving traffic means more pollution. This also is to be remembered, whether it is local vehicular movement or coming from outside. Bringing in non-polluting electricity run vehicles, that is coming in very fast in Delhi. And use of blended petroleum. Mainly, we are finding that the cars and now even the buses, they are being converted into, and that became only possible by imposing tax, environmental tax, collecting tax from non-destined truck movements, and then Supreme Court forcing government of Delhi to spend that money so as to buy the electrical buses. Any government can claim that they have done it, but it is in fact they have been forced to do it through the GRAP. And you see, in spite of doing all these things and the big claims through the grab, through the new things coming up, you find that from 2022 to 22-23 year to 23-24, at least in Delhi and in Chandigarh, the pollutions are still rising. At some other places, the pollution levels like in Mumbai, Kolkata and Lucknow, they have reduced because of the implementation of GAP. But still, because of the population being constantly increasing in the cities like Chandigarh, Mohali, and then the another nearby Huda centers, and also in Delhi, the population is constantly yet increasing. And then also, of course, whatever measures we have taken, they are not sufficient and the pollution levels are still going up. So if local, the measures are not working, then of course you need to have emergence of a clean energy sources. And for this, the fossil fuel burning is to be stopped. The biomass burning is stopped, and we have to switch over to the renewable energy that generates the electricity through the sustainable sources, right? So this is being done. The hydrogen is to be coming in as a new one. If you look at this graph, you will find from earlier times, from 2015 to 16, look at this yellow bar. Constantly, this solar energy is now increasingly becoming very important for generating or meeting the energy needs of India. From very, very small, the hydro, the oil, the nuclear, and the wind. Now you can find that almost 29% of the energy needs are being met through this alternate source of energies, which was not the case earlier. But still, if you look at this, this is dangerous. 50% of energy needs, whether it is for generating electricity, whether it is the industries, we are still dependent upon coal. Oil and gas, we are dependent upon 5.8. Nuclear, we are still lacking behind. So we have to go to a nuclear energy, the solar energy, and the wind energy. And we are little satisfied as with regard to the sources of solar energy. You see, India has 5,000 trillion kilowatt of per energy incident over the India as a sun energy. And today we are able to produce, and our rank is 5th in the world, 70 gigawatts of the electricity through solar panels. You go to Haryana, you will find most of the pumps are now being run through the solar energy. That is not the case with the Punjab or elsewhere. So it's a good beginning that is taking place. And solar street lights today are almost, 9.5 lakhs. The solar home lighting system has now reached to some 17 lakhs, although a lot is to be done. And the aim through this plan is that today we are somewhere around 450 gigawatt of electricity, the energy needs that we require. And by 2030, through the Sustainable Development Goal, the Government of India has set, and it is progressing very well in this particular area, and will be almost generating the similar quantity of energy through these alternate sources of energy, mainly through solar and wind. So this is one area that we are progressing very fast. That will help in controlling air pollution. And the green technologies have to come in. The solar energy, as I've told you, to be used. India is becoming a home of 24 crore household, and Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana is also on the rise. There are 10 crore people, those who have taken this, and 70% people, not all, 70% people are repeatedly using that connection. 30% because of the poverty line, or maybe the reason that still they are unable to buy even the subsidized LPG, may be the reason. And the PMUY, the 2.0, there is a 1,000 rupees subsidy. So first cylinder installation is also free, and some more benefits are being now granted. Chula is also being given free by the government. 2,000 more crore people have added. There was almost stagnation coming into this scheme with 10,000 beneficiaries. Only 70% of them, that means 7,000 crore repeatedly using it. But now 2,000 crore people, the household have added. And remember, this has not only given us the idea how to use the safer fuel, but also many women have been saved, because they were suffering from lot many, I mean, the chest diseases and the bronchial asthma and so on and so forth, because they were using earlier coal and wood for the home cooking. And also, I mean, with this, one thing which is very good in this is that only the woman can be the owner of this, not a male member of this, of the family. Then second problem, which I'll hurriedly be covering, is sewage disposal in cities. It's a big problem. I'll take the example of Delhi and then try to explain. The national capital is a faster growing metropolitan city. There's no doubt about it. The sewage disposal in the drainage system is unable to meet the ever expanding population and the area. And you know, the 50% of the homes do not link with the proper sewage system. And 50% of the waste that we're producing is going directly into the Yamuna or other water bodies. Many water bodies, because of the sewage problem, has vanished from Delhi. And per day, this is of 2023 data, Delhi produced 792 million gallons of sewage. And the STPs that the Delhi have installed, they have a capacity only to 632 million gallons to treat. But when 62 they will treat, when they work to their 100% full potential. Unfortunately, out of the 35 STPs which have been installed, 22 do not meet the standards. And that is why I'm saying the 50% of the sewage is going untreated. This is the state of affair in the capital city. In the last 10 years, this problem has become more severe. The Yamuna river has become almost a nala. And there's no, I mean, looking forward that how this problem would be tackled. And if you know that all this what is causing is contaminating of well water, groundwater is contaminated, public health is at a poor, mosquitoes are breeding, rodents are coming, insects are going, untreated sewage led to stinking, foul smell, bathing clothes, bad exposure, toxic farming surrounding Yamuna, I mean in about the Yamuna river bed. There's a improper, there's a gastroenteritis, diarrhea coming in, dehydration coming in, kidney dysfunction, urinary infection, and water is getting polluted, the soil is getting polluted, and whatnot. And you know, there is a possible solution. But you need to have 25,000 crore required for Delhi alone to have its sewage pipelines being first put into the place. And thereafter, you need to install minimum 50 STP plants. They are to be not only installed, but a care is to be taken that they run at their 100%, if not 100%, at least to 80% is the efficiency. And we need to follow certain, new innovation ideas where you have to convert this sewage into biofuels and biogas, electricity and biomanures. There was one such plant was commissioned at Okhla, and gobar gas was used to be supplied in that area, but that also has failed. And now, wherever there was a gobar gas in South Delhi areas being supplied through the pipeline, it has been withdrawn and PNG has taken over. But still, we have to go back to this. If you have to treat this, there are so many, examples of this. London-based biobeans turning waste into coffee grounds into the advanced biofuels. This is one startup that is much talked about. The Scottish talk about technology where the bioproducts is being used for making whiskey into the biofuels. The Chennai state government has given some hope. Hopefully, these 13 plants, the sewage treatment plants, the 7 are being run on in the biogas engines. So the energy produced can be used in itself, and maybe even for the supply of on produced electricity is to be attached to the main grid. The solid waste management, this is another area that is becoming increasingly important. And the collecting, treating, disposing solid material in itself is no longer useful. It becomes municipal solid waste, bio waste. It can create unsanitary conditions and can lead to environmental, pollution and outbreak of vector-borne diseases like which can be spread by rodents and insects. E-waste in itself is becoming another area of concern. And I tell you, solid waste management is a very, very complex and technical challenge that is to be taken care of. Up till now, we are more, depending upon reducing, reusing, and recycling. But I tell you, we have to go for an out-of-box thinking. Because these 3 Rs are not working well with regard to the metropolitan cities. And huge pile-ups of the garbages are seen wherever you go from outside Delhi or outside any metropolitan city. You know, how big these nuisances are becoming. Of course, recycling is important, and these are the examples, well-known examples. The plastic is producing once again into the decaying docks, play sets, the new bottles, the detergent bottles are being converted into stadium seats, containers, buckets, etc., etc. So these are happening. I'll not go into the details of this. The newspaper is being used, the recycling of paper is being done, the metal cans, the bike parts, the new cans, or whether it is steel beam, in all it can be reused. Now, then what is stored as the sustainable development goals and what actually India is doing? Is India doing anything on it? Yes, India is doing very well, in fact. You see, if I look at the first few of them, eliminate poverty, erase hunger, establish good health and the well-being, provide quality education, enforce gender equality, improve clean water and sanitation, affordable and clean energy, create decent work and economic growth, etc., etc. If I concentrate, let us say, on the first 8, 9, even one of them, others can also be discussed. But let us, because these are more closely related to the environment, then I would like to tell you that the government of India has taken these initiatives on the sustainable development, and many of them, they are very successful one. So as to tackle the poverty and the hunger, Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana, Anna Yojana is there for free ration for 80 crore people. Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana is there for free housing. 3,000 crore beneficiaries are there. Kisan Samman Nidhi Yojana is there. I mean, many poor farmers are being given 6,000 rupees a year, and that helps them to buy at least seeds and to arrange water for the irrigation. And in the health, the Ayushman Bharat, the affordable medicines through the generic products, the vaccination schemes, and India is becoming now a hub in creating the healthcare equipments. Instead of importing, now we are becoming exporters of this. The NEP through the school education at village level in the local languages to aim the 100% enrollment. And it is hoping, the government of India is hoping by 2035, almost everybody will be at least having a primary education. The HE at a district level is to aim to increase the GR to 50% by 2035. So the schemes are coming in and they are in match with the SDGs. The women empowerment, the Istri Shakti Yojana, you know, I mean, 25 lakhs, the single woman or the other woman can take a loan at a very low rate. One-stop center and universalization of women helpline is another, I mean, area where India is doing exceedingly well. And through this, crores of people are linked, especially the women. Swadhar Graha scheme, the Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, Pradhan Mantri, Matra Vandana Yojana. I mean, the people are giving the help through these schemes, those who register with them, especially the poor women. And water and sanitation, Jal Jeevan Mission, Har Ghar Nal Se Jal scheme. This is also doing wonderfully well, beyond expectation, even from the government of India, electricity to the last village. The sanitation scheme, that means the financial assistance of 12,000 rupees for construction of individual household toilets in the rural area. 10 crore people have taken benefit of out of this. Clean energy, I have already spoken. The uh, almost 28% of energy needs are not met through the solar and the wind sources. That is a good jump from 2 to 3% to now we have reached up to 27%. So this all is happening. And you see, tackling climate change, practicing environment sustainability, the challenge of India's vision to Atma. Only this needs to be remembered that most of the environmental issues are result of or the connected economic or business activity. This we know, but we have to then go for a sustainable development. And you also must remember that most of the solution to the environmental issue provide more opportunities for business activity. And this cycle will always go on. And that is why there will be always a world politics. The developed countries will try to impose restriction on us. The countries which are likely to get their development done in the next few years, they are going to impose restrictions and I'm going to suggest. But meeting the world standards, not for them, but for us. The challenge is that the India has to go forward and the India has to meet these requirements. So while the country's attention was focused more on the relief measure during the COVID time, Atam Nirbhar Bharat scheme was launched so as to come out of the crisis. And we are proud Indians that we have come out of this economic crisis, which the West is facing, but not us. And there are many schemes. Make in India starts a Mudra loan, defense sector, ICT. ICT has done very well. Now we are one of the largest producers of mobile phones, and we are an upcoming semiconductor. The ICT, the industry. We are ahead of many others. And of course, from Atmanirbhar Bharat to to the Viksit Bharat at the rate 2047. There are many things to be done, and the focus is on affordable housing for laborers and low-income workforce, green jobs, rebooting energy mix by increasing share of renewable energy that we are doing very well in this sector. Here also 3,000 people, 3 crore people have already got the houses. Sustainable way to regulate and use of plastic material, Swachh Bharat mission. Here we are lacking a little. Here we have to build state-of-art smart grid system. This particular area, India has done very well. In fact, we have used technology for transportation of electricity. And our grid systems now are much, much better even than some of the developed countries. And that is why you see now there is a little load shedding, little tripping that takes place, even when there's a sudden increase in the need of power because of the excessive wind, especially in the northern India region. So things have changed. New infrastructure projects, highways, smart state, art of building, this all is being taken up on the priority, and highways are testimony to it. And then fast and smart energy transportation that I have already explained to you. Efficient healthcare system. Here we need to be more active, although we have gone far ahead in the pharma and vaccination industry. But still, I mean, providing healthcare to individuals, to people, this needs urgent attention. Although more aims and more medical colleges, they almost have doubled, they have come, but yet we need much more to be done in this. We have to eradicate poverty and hunger completely. This area we have uplifted many people from poverty line, but yet, I mean, हर घर को हाथ भी चाहिए तो काम भी चाहिए इसके ऊपर काम करने की आवश्यकता and education and employment for all. So India will become economic power, and that will make world live with harmony and peace because of our philosophy.